All right, let's talk about why mindful breathing matters more than ever in 2026. So, I'm going to ask you a question. Consider this. How long can the average person go without eating? I think it's something like 21 days or something. Don't quote me on that, but it's a week or so. Now, how long can the average person go without water? It's a few days, maybe a week. Now, how long can a person go without breathing? A few minutes, maybe? How long can you even hold your breath? uh, I see my kids have contests all the time about who could hold their breath the longest, and they don't make it longer than like 45 seconds. Okay? So that alone should let you know just the importance of breathing and how it is a intensely vital function that we do every day, every moment of our entire lives. And for the most part, we don't ever pay attention to it. And thank goodness our brain does it for us. We don't have to really think about it, it just kind of happens. But what if I told you that being more mindful of your breathing could really help you regulate your nervous system? And having a regulated nervous system is the difference between being calm and being anxious. All right? So let's hop into it. Now, did you know that something like 75% of people don't breathe properly? Okay. So in this video, we're going to go over how to breathe properly for one, why breath work is important. Okay, well, we kind of went over the first one. I mean, you need it to live, duh, hello. And then I'm going to give you a very simple technique that you can start right now, even in this video. You can take it with you, and that will help regulate your nervous system and help connect you, or I should say, put you more in your body, more somatics, if you will. All right. And I'm referring to my notes because I'm a rambler and I'm not rambling in this video. Okay, so point number one, how to breathe properly. As I already stated, most of us don't breathe properly. Okay, so take a moment before I get into it and just breathe. Just breathe. You can place your hand on your chest, if you will, on your belly. Take a few breaths and just see what you notice. Okay, so most of us breathe with our chest, okay? And I'm not gonna go into like the anatomy of it, but just think about like how deep your lungs go and everything that is involved with the whole respiratory system, right? You know, you have your diaphragm that's deep in your belly, your lungs come way down over here where your ribs are, you know, you got your nose up here, your mouth, your throat, all of that is part of the respiratory system. And so many of us constrict it and we only use like half of it, right? So we breathe very shallowly and we call that chest breathing, right? So, right, just with the chest. Now, technically, that is in line with hyperventilating a little bit, right? You're shortchanging your breath. And when you do that, it sends signals to the body. Not only does it cut off the full amount of oxygen supply that you could be getting, or you should be getting, and when that happens, when you deplete the body of oxygen, it is linked to increasing the body's anxiety. It causes the body to tensen up, right? And by simply just doing shallow chest breathing, all of that affects you. So you go into your life, you're at work, you're in your social situations, and you're doing this tight breathing, right? Some of us notice it, some of us don't. But the appropriate technical way to breathe, think about if you've watched a baby breathe or even an animal, right? You'll notice that they use their belly and their diaphragm. Like you'll see the belly expand and contract and expand and contract. And that is when you're using the full system to be able to breathe, right? So your breath should really start from your nose or your mouth, go all the way in and take all the way out, right? And then when you exhale, it should really engage that diaphragm, the core muscles, and then come all the way out, right? So that's a full cycle of breathing, okay? Now, a lot of people who have anxiety are pretty familiar with this. That's one of the first things that your therapist or your coach or whoever you're working with will tell you is to do some breath work, right? Because that's what, well, I'm going to get into like what it technically does. But yes, that's our first point, how to breathe properly. So no more chest breathing. When you breathe, engage the entire system, right? Okay. Now, our next point is, why is breath work so important? And to put it, in layman's terms, I think that connecting with your breath and being mindful of it takes you out of your head and puts you into your body, if you will. That, because things like anxiety and emotional flashbacks and overthinking and whatnot, that to me is when there's been a disconnect between like your mind and your body. So everything, all the focus, everything is up here in your mind, and you're overthinking and you're thinking and you're nervous and whatnot, and your body's down here like, right? So breath work is important. That mindfulness is because you stop for a second or more, hopefully more than a second, and you focus on making sure that whole breath comes all the way into your body. And just by doing that, your mind shifts for a moment from being up in the clouds and being up too much in your head, and it comes back into your body, right? And then when you're in your body, you are more aware of any tension that might be going on, right? Whenever I do my breathwork exercises, like for one, like I'll realize like, ooh, I need to make sure I'm sitting in my chair appropriately, right? And, oh, hey, baby. And, you relax the shoulders, relax the jaw, right? Relax the hips, maybe uncross your legs, right? All of those cues come about when you simply become mindful of your breath, okay? And being in your body and being aware of where you are in time and space and the sensations that are going on is, to me, more than half the battle, right? All right. Okay. So, 3. Here is the simple technique you can start right now that will help you, what's that word say? Regulate. I'm trying to read my handwriting. Regulate your nervous system, okay? And think of it this way, the 4 and 6. 4 and 6, right? So really what it is it's an inhale for 4, and then you exhale for 6 seconds, right? Now, please don't get caught up on the numbers. It doesn't have to be right on 4, right on 6. Everybody's different. Everyone counts differently and whatnot. But this is generally what's recommended, 4 and 6. But the key to this is making sure that your exhale is longer and slower than the inhale. Okay, that's really the basis of it. And I will show you what it'll look like. So come into your meditative stance, I like to call it, sitting upright in your chair. Close your eyes. You can place one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly if needed. And then you just inhale through the nose. And I'm going to count out loud just for the sake of this video, but inhale, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Honestly, I can't really breathe and count out loud at the same time. But that's really all you need to do is just sit here and just make sure that you're engaging the whole respiratory system, right? The nose, inhaling, feel your chest rise. And then on the exhale, engage your abdomen, your diaphragm. Follow that breath mentally out through the mouth. And then again, if you want to take it a step further, something else I like to add is that on the inhale, relax the hips, the pelvic floor, the lower back, and whatnot. Make space for that breath to come all the way in. So again, relax the pelvic floor, feel all of it expand, feel the chest. And then exhale. Begin by activating the abs gently, right? Letting that, feeling that, diaphragm, push the lungs all the way out, right? And that's really it. Those are the things that you're focusing on right now. I like to count and just keep my mind on the counting, just in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I just keep that rhythm going for a few minutes, right? And that's really it. That is mindful breathing in a nutshell. The very introduction to it. I know there's all kinds of fancy techniques out there, which we will get into in another video. But this right now is pretty much what you need and what matters the most, as I said in the beginning, here in 2026. All right, so give that a try. Let me know how it goes. And happy mindful breathing. Catch you in the next one.